Okay, thank you, Oupa Laka. I hope that I'm pronouncing your name correctly, for being here with us today for this conference called GABAC, where we will be talking about business analysis. And your subject, like I told you before, is highly rated. And I hope that you are going to meet our need and share with us anything that will make us say, wow, what is business analysis? I want to know more. I want to talk with Oupa. I want to learn more with Oupa. I want Oupa to be my mentor. I want Oupa to be, I don't know, coach. Coach is too much, but I will say mentor actually. So I will let you introduce yourself, and yeah, I'm handing over the mic.
Okay, thank you, Sylvie. Let me greet everyone wherever you are dialing in from. I have no idea, but I guess it would be great if we know. So my name is Oupa Laka, and I'm a business analyst. I'm based in South Africa, in the Gauteng province, in Centurion. That's the name of the suburb. And I've been a business analyst for roughly 1.5 decades. And I've worked in different companies, different industries, and it's been quite a journey for me. I'm really excited. And as I said, I would like to know whoever's joining us. I believe that the chat is open. And because the chat is open, you can be able to put in there and say, hi, I'm joining from this place. It would be really great to know who is joining from where. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. So now, what made me think about this topic, essentially, I have a favorite toy of mine. And if you can see it, this is my favorite toy of all time. It's a DSLR camera. I do take quite a number of photos, but I'm more interested in landscape photography, seeing things from the broader picture. So I really love this thing so much. There was once upon a time, I had one which I dropped and it broke. And when it broke, my heart also broke. And why did I bring this photography concept into business analysis? That's what we're going to be delving in here. So now, if
I'm sorry, we are having some issue. Oupa actually is having some issue in connection issue in South Africa. So he's back. He's back. We can hear you. Your mic is closed. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Apologies for that. I don't know how I got cut off. But thanks, Sylvie. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. It looks like my internet is unstable for some odd reason, but we should be able to get through this in the next half an hour also. All right, so photography is a beautiful thing. If you think about yourself, when you look at a picture of sorts, whatever the photo may be, it might be a photo of yourself when you were younger, maybe when you were still in high school, or you might look at a photo of a landscape. And when you look at it, and when I look at it, we can see different things. And we start seeing the detail, picking out on this, picking up on that. And that's the beauty of photography that we see. And now a photographer will have to sit and look at this beautiful thing and figure out what settings do I need to put on here to make sure that I get the right consistency of a picture without noise, without blurriness. And if there's something, they adjust and they try to put in a different lens just so that you can get that perfect photo that you're looking for. And that is similar to the way that we business analysts work. Don't we just love looking at sometimes data? We're looking at documents, we're looking at process maps, capability maps, whatever it is that you're looking at, because you're trying to find the details in it. And you want to bring it together and putting this beautiful thing, which is a picture that everyone can see. So now, like I said, photography inspires me to actually look at business analysis in a different way, because now you can think of, I'm not just doing this for the sake of doing it. There is an end goal. In the end, whether you'll be there or not, whoever is going to be looking at that photo or that business requirement specification, or that process map, or whatever output that you're doing. They have to look at it and say, I can actually see, and it can start sparking some conversation from there. So today I'd like to share with you some of these parallels between photography and the world of business analysis. And I want to share with you some ingredients that I have utilized in my journey. And I believe that these ingredients can also help you to become a more impactful analyst. And now, before we dive in, I just want us to have a look at this. I mean, however many people there are from different parts of the world, these are the kinds of photos that I like to take. And the one who's there, that is me with my camera, and somebody was taking a photo of me while I was taking a photo of them. But I want you not to focus on me, focus on the other three, that, there's something. When you look at it, what are you seeing? You're more than welcome to type that in the chat. Somebody might be saying, I see the horizon. Oh, the seashore. And what kind of emotion does it evoke? Because when you look at that, like, oh, the beach, wow, I need a holiday. And other people are looking at it and say, wow, the world, I want to go out there and go for a hike. And others are looking at, the mountain peaks and look at how the clouds are coming in here. And that's where now you start seeing, as a business analyst, when you start putting things together to build a picture, you can actually help the collective start seeing one thing. Now, I want you to imagine yourself as a photographer, how you will be so meticulous in composing a shot, making sure that you're pulling in those stakeholder needs. You are finding out those data points and the interconnectedness between the data points and how this whole thing, this tapestry just builds a beautiful picture. See, this ignited my passion about 15 years ago, and I'm so glad that, I got into this profession. And just like a photographer, there are times whereby like you take a photo and it's blurry. No, I need to do something about it. But with business analysis, it might just be that you do a piece of work and then you look back like, no, I'm not so sure about this. Now you need to do something in order for you to get a clearer picture or to craft a clearer picture for your audience, your stakeholders, your sponsors, and people like that. So I want us to consider these three ingredients as we get into this talk. The three ingredients that I've used throughout my journey in the past decade and a half are, firstly, purpose. Secondly, passion. And thirdly, principle. Now I want us to dive into these. So what's on the menu for today? We're going to look at purpose as this guiding light for everything that we do. We're going to look at passion and how it ignites a spark in the work that we do. And I would like for us to also delve into principle and how principle becomes the foundation of excellence. And as we wrap up, we're going to look at the interconnectedness of these three Ps, the three Ps of purpose, passion, and principle. And towards the end, we'll have some question and answer sessions, and hopefully I can answer all, if not most of your questions. Okay, and we proceed. Purpose. We hear this word a lot, and we see it in some places. If you're a reader, I'm sure you've seen somewhere there's purpose. There are books written about it. But you see, purpose helps us because it is the cornerstone of effective business analysis. In fact, it's a cornerstone of just about everything. Purpose serves as this guiding star, helping us to know exactly where are we going, what are we trying to achieve. And it provides us with a direction, like I say, where are we going, what are we trying to achieve? It aligns the stakeholders, their needs, their fears, their gaps, and all of that. And it ensures that we can have a focused effort because we know where we are headed to. And another beautiful thing about purpose is that it helps us to prioritize work, to optimize resources, and make sound decisions. And how do we do that? It's just that purpose, it's not just this end goal. It's actually a journey that we go through. And you can see purpose in the grand ambitions that people might have. Grand ambitions such as we want to alleviate poverty. Just recently, we wanted to say we want to get out of COVID-19. We are tired of sitting in our homes. We want to be out there. That's a grand ambition. And it's used like, how do we go about that? And you can find purpose in the seemingly mundane, the so-called not so great ambitions. Like when you're doing a hobby, maybe you're cleaning the house, doing some chores, whatever the case may be. But you have to understand that when it comes to purpose, this is about contributing to something much bigger than just oneself. It has a ripple effect that carries forward a particular message and narrative, and it communicates an intention, and it can also communicate a hope. So how do we cultivate our purpose in business analysis? I would like to put to you that you have to, firstly, embrace the big picture. Just like me, when I go on and I want to take my photos, and whether it's a wedding, it's a party, or I'm out there in the wild, I want to see the whole picture. So you have to understand the big picture of the business. How are things interconnected? What are the business units that are there? What processes are there? What kind of stakeholders do I have? Have that big picture. Start there. And while you're going on about it, now you have to dig into the why. Why are we even doing this thing? Before you can even start thinking about solutions, just think about, why is this a problem? Why is this a gap? Why are we even here meeting to say we're going to do this project? And I want us to also think, how do we emphasize stakeholder engagement? Because you're not doing this for yourself. Remember, purpose is much bigger than just me. It is, in the grander scheme of things, it actually empowers and enables other people and things around me. So you have to find a way of engaging with stakeholders, because you don't operate in a vacuum. You have to try to understand their needs, their concerns, their fears, and how do you make sure that whatever you do resonates with their stakeholders' perspectives. And more than that, you have to go beyond the obvious. You can't just analyze based on what you've been told, because sometimes stakeholders just tell you what they know. You have to look for those hidden traits, and look for, the emerging technologies, and, how do you bring all of these things around? Don't just look at, this is the requirement I was given, and it ends there. You have to go beyond the obvious. And you have to, over and above embracing the stakeholder engagement, embrace the human touch. Whatever it is that you're doing, remember you're doing it for a human. Yes, in the end, some developer might write code for something to be done, but they're not writing code for the computer. They're writing code so that the human can benefit in the end. So you have to embrace that human touch. Have a sense of empathy when you're dealing with this. And I think one thing that you have to keep in mind is that when it comes to cultivating purpose, you must embrace the journey. Sometimes you don't just get things like that. It's a journey of discovery. And this journey sometimes takes you through hills and valleys. There are ebbs and flows, but you have to embrace that journey and say, okay, what is the big picture, by the way, that we're doing? That becomes your guiding light. Sometimes you might need to take detours in order for you to get to the end goal, but because you understand the why, and you understand the humans that are involved in this, and you went even beyond what they're telling you by involving them, and you can see the big picture, you can actually enjoy the journey, and it's quite nice. So I want to leave you with this when it comes to purpose. These are the things that I want you to ask yourself when it comes to purpose. What do you aim to achieve? Number one. And think about, what is your guiding light? What is that thing that's going to illuminate your path as you go through your tasks and whatever it is that you need to do? And you need to ask yourself, do you clearly understand where you're going and what it is that you want to achieve? See, when analysts leverage their skills with a clear understanding of the why, they become the architects of positive change. You illuminate pathways towards sustainable growth, and you can recommend impactful solutions, and you can see how to better serve humanity. So I'll say, let us embark on this journey together. The pursuit of purpose, let it be our guiding light in the world of business analysis, and ask the why behind every investigation. Don't just delve in. Yeah, you can dive deep, but why are you diving deep? Because if you don't understand what it is that you're trying to achieve, you're going to dive deep and you might find yourself in a rabbit hole. Now, it's good to have purpose and all that, but here's a quote. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. And this is by Friedrich Nietzsche. So if I butcher this name, by all means, this name has got letters that I don't even know are necessary. But look at it. He who has a why can bear almost anyhow. See, as a business analyst, when you have the why of what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, now you start looking deeper than just the things that are on the periphery. These are disturbances, the noises all around you. You can bear almost anyhow. And now, how can you actually bear almost anyhow? That's where passion comes into play. Because passion is like this fire that ignites something inside of you. Imagine on a cold winter and, you just have to do something, you're outside and there is no electricity, or even if there is, you're trying to save the electricity bill, you don't want to switch on the heater. What do? You light a fire, you sit around there, you can tell stories. It's a beautiful thing. See, it has this thing. Passion fuels this enthusiasm and commitment. But then how does it actually do that? There are certain things that passion brings into play. Okay, passion is that catalyst that sparks innovation. By that, what do I mean? I mean, you can be doing something and you understand the why, but you're not really so fueled up, or you do something and you hit a snag and you're like, I've just hit a snag, maybe I must just leave this. But no, as a passionate business analyst, you're going to start thinking, okay, what else can I do? How else can I do that? I know this tool. Can I use it in a different way in order for me to still get the result, which is the why that we have defined earlier on? Okay. And if you think about passion, it leads to higher levels of engagement. Consider yourself going to the doctor and ask the doctor, hey, doctor, how are you? I'm here today. So what's wrong? Like, I'm not sure. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that, sometimes it's the other, and sometimes it's all three. And the doctor is like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'll give you aspirin, go. Is that doctor passionate? No. Instead, a passionate doctor will actually go in and say, oh, you know what? Can you tell me a little bit about this? Can you tell me about that? They might ask you to do a certain test here and go to see the specialist because they actually want to dive deeper into that. And if the doctor does that for you, are you going to go back? Certainly, because this doctor really cares. They're not just a doctor that's like, yeah, I want to bill you at the end. Similar to us as business analysts, if you're really passionate, somebody is going to see that and they're like, okay, I want to work with this person. They look like they know what they're doing and they love what they're doing and they're asking the right questions. They're committed to their work. It helps a lot. And you see, when you drive that passion, now you start uncovering certain insights that may otherwise have been hidden. You can be given all the information, all the data, all the process maps, all the standard operating procedures and all of that, but you don't see the interconnectedness and the relatedness of these things if you're not passionate. But when you're passionate, you will find a way of doing that. So passion is also this fervor. It infuses us with a fresh perspective. Because you're not just going to be stuck with one thing, you're going to try and be innovative and try do this and try do that. Now you start saying, oh, wow, okay, this is great. When you hit problems or challenges, you start thinking, oh, maybe I can actually look at it like that. And because of that thing, you yourself are more likely to be engaged and your stakeholders are more likely to be engaged in the project that you're working. And they'll be motivated towards making a difference along with you. So I'd say do not let go of passion. Now, I want to say to us, if we are to ooze passion in the work that we do, there are certain things that we need to consider. All right. My bad. Okay. So I would say start by seeking inspiration. Okay. Find mentors, find industry experts, immerse yourself in success stories of other business analysts. Read about what people are doing out there. It actually helps you to say, oh, wow, so people are actually going worse than I am, or others have had it easier because they've done this and that. You need to seek that inspiration. I found that LinkedIn is a great place to be able to seek for such. You can get so much information from LinkedIn, and it even gives you hyperlinks to websites, to other places, platforms where you can learn about it. Yeah, you have to embrace continuous learning. Because there are new technologies that come up. Like when you started, maybe it was Microsoft Visio for drawing processes, and then you realize, oh, actually, I can do this in Miro. Oh, I can do this in the other two. And that one makes it easier. You have to embrace the continuous learning. Otherwise, it becomes stagnant and your passion starts to fade away. And I think another thing that we need to learn is becoming a master storyteller. I am a fan of stories. And I will tell you why. You can put together a beautiful PowerPoint presentation. You can put together a beautiful data, whatever, a beautiful process map, a beautiful business requirement specification that follows logic and all that. But if somebody looks at it and they cannot understand, then that's a big problem. You have to start fostering a way of telling stories. Why? Humans love stories. If I start telling you a story about me now, your ears are gonna be like, "Ooh, I want to hear that one. What did he say?" Yes, of course. That's how we are. Let's start telling stories and becoming master storytellers in the things that we do. And we have to seek collaboration. There's no photographer that can capture the moment in silence. I remember once I was asked to come take photos at this couple's wedding. I mean, I'm not a professional photographer. I'm such an amateur, it's not funny. I'm just passionate about this thing, that's all. And they asked me to come take photos because they don't have budget for a photographer and they know that I would understand, so they just needed help. But I understood that if I went there with just me and my 1 or 2 cameras, I'm going to miss some things. I'm not going to be able to capture the uncles, the aunts, the grannies, and the what, because I'll be following the couple only. So what I decided to do was I invited other people with cameras to say, can you focus on this? When we are at the ceremony, focus on the audience, because I don't want to miss a moment of the bride shedding a tear, and I don't want to miss that moment where I can see the groom is shaking. So let me focus on this, you do that, and together we can collectively craft a story. And what happened in the end, when I compiled that album and gave it to them, they could tell the story, even of the things that they obviously they were looking at each other in their eye. So they missed everything that happened around them. But because I collaborated, we could craft a story like that. And even us as business analysts, we need to start looking at it from that perspective. You cannot do everything by yourself. You may be the only business analyst, but it doesn't mean that other people do not know how to do analysis. They might be able to help you with other things. And how do you approach them and seek that help? So when it comes to passion, I want you to ask yourself certain things, because passion fuels the analyst spirit. It infuses creativity and enthusiasm into the analytical process. You realize when you have passion that business analysis is not a job, it is a calling. It is a relentless pursuit of insights and solutions that drive positive change in a sustainable way. It transforms, this routine that we do into this exhilarating journeys of discovery, where your data sets and your pictures, they become a canvas waiting to be painted. Now, this is what I want you to ask yourself when it comes to passion. What drives you to put in the hard work and effort that's required to reach and achieve your goals? Yes, you say I have purpose and you understand what the goal is, but what is it that's going to drive you? And as you go through the ebbs and the flows, the mountains, the hills and the valleys, what is it that's going to sustain you through these challenges and setbacks? These are the things that you need to ask yourself, and then you start infusing that passion in there. But you can be so passionate that it's a problem. Even at my own wedding, I remember a friend of mine had a camera, and I was standing there with my bride, and there he was. I saw him lying on the ground taking this picture. Later on, when I asked him, dude, what was that? Even the main photographer was not doing that. He said, no, man, I wanted to capture this angle. Yeah, I saw that he has passion, but well, he was not such a skilled photographer. But you see what it does. It opens up that innovative mind. You start looking at things from a different perspective. And when things go tough for a photographer, sometimes the batteries die. You can lose that motivation. You can have things in your own personal life that challenge you. What is it that you're going to do in order to sustain through those challenges and setbacks? You and only you can answer that. But you see, here's another quote. Without principles to guide us, we are adrift at sea with no map or compass. This is by M. Russell Ballard. So you have purpose. You know why you're doing it, etc. You're filled with passion, and you will do anything and everything in order to get that done because you're so passionate. But here's the caveat. Without principles to guide us, man, that can be challenging. Let's get into talking about principles now. This is a bedrock that we build upon. See, in the world of businesses, it's like ever-shifting sands. There's things that change. And, COVID-19 really showed us that things can change just like that. And there are many other things, new entrants that we never expected. And there's just a whole lot of things. So what do you do? Because now you're supposed to achieve. You have defined the why, and you have this passion. I will do anything and everything in order to achieve it. anything and everything, I will warn you right there. You can't just do anything and everything. There are certain principles that we need to uphold. There are certain things that we need to make sure that we do properly. So what are we talking about when it comes to principles? This is about upholding ethical principles. And this is the bedrock of a reputable and trusted business analyst. Because if you don't have principles, that can be a problem. And I can imagine when I'm driving on the highway and I'm above the speed limit, and there's a destination that I'm headed to. I have my why, okay? And I'm passionately going there to make sure that I make it, and I'm going to be present at this thing. And then the traffic cop stops me. In South Africa, where I live, we have this term called cold drink. That is for the traffic officer. That is actually, a bribe for the traffic officer. Now, I can't be paying cold drink if I'm ethical, if I have principles. That is a big problem, all right? Principles, what else do they do for us? They define our professional conduct, and it safeguards our integrity and also the integrity of the analysis that we do. Because imagine if you don't have principles and we find out that you did things in a not so great way, you had some briberies there, there were some shortcuts there. That's like, can I really trust this person? No. And principles help us to be honest, to be fair, to be transparent in the dealings with the stakeholders. And sometimes that transparency might just mean something like, oh, you know what, I really messed up. I missed that completely. I didn't even think of it. And here we are building a solution, and there is a requirement that is missing. Is it tough? Yes, but then you will be respected for your integrity and your honesty. You have to respect confidentiality. Avoid conflicts of interest. Sometimes confidentiality comes in the form of you get into an organization and they actually give you data to work with. Some of it might be personal information, and then you start seeing, oh, wow, people earn this amount of money. My goodness, what am I doing here? And now you want to talk about that. Respect that confidentiality. And also avoiding conflicts of interest would mean as you're gathering the requirements, you understand the why. Now you start seeing there are conflicting requirements here and there, and even your own personal conflicts of interest. There's something that you want to do that might be an issue if you do it while working at that organization. Please look out for such things. And principles are the foundation of strong, enduring relationships, whether it's with clients, whether it's with colleagues, whether it's with partners, and a whole range of other stakeholders. Principle is a great foundation to make sure that your relationships are not just for that project, but beyond that, they're enduring relationships. And another thing, that principles, they enhance our credibility. If we can trust you, then you're a credible person. And your influence can actually grow in the field of business analysis and even beyond that. So I would urge you, as you're doing your business analysis, think about how principle is this internal locus of control, and it empowers you to think beyond the surface, that it's not just about getting this done at all costs with a lot of passion. Now, how do I embed principles in my business analysis? Firstly, embrace integrity. That's a very critical thing. Embrace integrity. You need it. Because if you don't embrace integrity, you're going to do anything at all costs. And think about the information that you're bringing into your outputs, maps and diagrams and all of that. Are they from reliable and verified sources? Can we trace, where the source of your information and how all this information comes together? Or you just became so creative that, well, that's a problem. And as you do it, I want you to think of the stakeholder value. Seek the stakeholder value. Business analysts exist to serve a purpose, and primarily it is to deliver business value. What is it that's valuable to the stakeholder that you have to focus on and let it be the one thing that drives you? Another thing, be a champion of objectivity. Again, remember, people have got biases. Some want this, some want that, and they want them for different reasons, etc., etc. People look at things. Even if I give you the same picture, you are looking at it with your own perspective, your own lens, and you see different things. Now, you are there to be objective. Remove yourself from the emotions and the what. Yes, you support your stakeholders, but remember, the why is what's going to drive us there. You have to be the champion of helping the stakeholders to drive objectivity. And you must nurture that open communication. Just like I said, sometimes you might have missed something. You need to say, okay, I'm sorry for this and that. And you have to be clear and concise in your communication. And you have to be open with the errors that you might commit as we go. When it comes to principles, I want you to ask yourself this. Principles are not rigid constraints, okay? They are actually there as guidelines to say you can do anything with all the passion we have, but within these guidelines. With principles, ask yourself this. What moral and ethical beliefs will help you make decisions that align with your values and help you achieve your purpose? Because your purpose to deliver stakeholder value when you're working in a project, but what is it that's going to help you to not be distracted? And ask yourself if you are able to control your impulses and focus on the important things. This one may jump here, this one may speak louder, this, that. Are you able to control that and hold on to principles that will guide you and steer you towards them? So we've looked at purpose, we've looked at passion, we've looked at principle. It can seem like a daunting task, but it's not. Think about what Neil Armstrong said. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. So as you do this, it becomes more, it reverberates throughout your circles. People are like, oh, wow, this person, they can actually help us articulate our needs properly. And they're so passionate at what they do. And man, they're really so principled. You do it step by step and you grow through this as you do that. Now let's bring all these elements together, our 3 Ps. Okay, what do they help us with? Purpose provides us with the North Star. That's where we're headed, and we know why we're headed there. Passion ignites creativity. It helps us to be nimble, and we can move about very nicely. And then when it comes to principles, they guide the ethical conduct of what we do. So these 3 have to work together. It's not just something that's like, okay, today I'm going to be purposeful, and tomorrow maybe I'll just ignite the passion, and the next day I'll figure out if I want to live principally or not. They work together, and that's what I want us to look at now. See, as you navigate through the intricacies of your daily dealings, so whether it's your life or your work, you need 3 things: a compass, a fire starter, and some kind of motivation. Think about when you're going hiking or you get lost. You think you need to have a sense of direction. That's your compass. It's your why. That's the purpose. And when things go somehow, I'm tired and all that, what's going to keep you going? That's the passion. It ignites that sense of dedication. And you need some kind of motivation when things go hard and whatever. Okay, yes, I need to do this and I need to do it in a disciplined and principled manner. And things are tough. What is it that's going to keep you within those guardrails? All right, and so another thing, say, why would I encourage you to use the 3 Ps of purpose, passion, and principle? Consistent quality of your outputs. Think about if you're always principled in the way that you present information, in the way that you present diagrams, in the way that you present data, whatever it is that you have to do, and you have consistent quality, people understand what it is and they can move along. It encourages motivation and engagement in the projects that we work with our stakeholders. And it helps with efficiency and resource optimization. You know the why. So you're like, then I don't have to do this if this is the why. We can actually put this aside or eliminate it completely. Then you can be efficient and you can optimize your own resources and the resources of the organization. It improves stakeholder relations and it also helps with continuous improvement. My bad, I went back a few slides. Okay, obviously it comes with some challenges and opportunities that I want us to quickly glance through. Underexposed requirements, as in there could be unclear requirements, misaligned solutions. There can be shaky deadlines where you're rushed to do things. And because you're rushed, you're sacrificing thoroughness for speed. And there can be scope creep where things are cluttered and everything is everywhere. That, you lose clarity and efficiency. And sometimes you need to balance priorities because of conflicts of interest. And there's this budget we cannot go over. And sometimes you find that there are ethical dilemmas that you need to deal with. So you need to uncover some data inconsistencies, some biases in the feedback that you get from the users that you need to handle as you go through your analysis. So I want to conclude with this. Having purpose, passion, and principle is not always easy, but it's definitely worth it. The effectiveness of these elements is amplified when they work together in harmony and reinforcing and complementing each other. Take, for example, if you add purpose with passion, you're going to get motivation, the why, and engagement because now you're fueled for that. If you take purpose and principle, you will have improved stakeholder relations because we trust their outcomes and the outputs that came from this person. And if you take passion and principle, you're doing it delightfully, and and you're like, okay, fine, because I can do this, I can move about. It helps you with that adaptability, your flexibility as you do your work. Okay, and with that, I wanna close off with this. Fellow business analysts and everyone who's doing everything else. Number one, I want you to embrace purpose. Let the purpose be your guiding light, illuminating the path to meaningful insights and transformative outcomes. Number two, I want you to ignite passion, that you need to feel passion in your endeavors, infusing creativity and enthusiasm in every aspect of your work. And number three, I want you to uphold discipline. Maintain discipline as the cornerstone of excellence, ensuring rigor, ensuring accuracy and integrity in all your endeavors. And with that, I believe that you can be able to be a great and successful business analyst. And I'll end here and asking if there are any questions from anyone. By the way, I cannot see the questions on the screen. Let me see if I can actually see something. I doubt it though. Are there any questions? Going once.
I have a question. Excuse me. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ethan.
Hi, yes. Sorry, those pictures that you took were so beautiful. I wonder if you could tell us where they were taken.
You wanna come with me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, I can't pay for you. You're gonna have to
Oh
pay for
yeah, no
yourself.
problem.
Pay for me too.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Oupa, that was incredible. Like I'm like writing down notes. I really love the quotes that you shared. Absolutely powerful. I am curious to know what inspires you because you're so passionate about what you do. It comes through your presentation.
What inspires me
Yeah.
is the 3 Ps. Honestly, that's why I'm sharing this with you. And I have said to someone before that if I don't understand the why, then I'm definitely not infused with any passion. So I need to know. I'm one of those. I can say that I'm quite stubborn. If I don't know why, I don't move. And when I understand the why, I'm like, oh, now I can see. And then I start involving you, understanding your perspective. How can I help you actually come to a solution that's going to help you? A solution that's sustainable, a solution that when I'm not there anymore, you can still look back and say, okay, this was worthwhile. And I'm guided by certain principles to say, yes, you can't do it any which way. Okay, there are certain boundaries. That's what.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rasi.
Okay.
All right, while you're thinking of your questions, let me just close it here. I want to say thank you in as many languages as I possibly can, because I have no idea where you're dialing in from in the part of the world. And yes, my name is Oupa Laka. You can find me on LinkedIn by just searching there. I'm not even going to put the URL. I'm the only one on LinkedIn. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Oupa. Thank you for your time. Okay. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we are not going to stay longer. Thank you for everyone for spending time with us this morning for GABAC. And we'll be late for the next one. And I hope that you will be there to support. I hope that I'm pronouncing correctly your name, Rezi. Correct?
I'll take it. Razi.
Razi.
Rasi, yes.
Razi. Okay, Razi. Okay, I hope that you guys will be here to support Razi. Normally, we should begin at 11:45, but I think that we are going probably to begin at 11:55 or something like that. So bear with us because we need to prep for the next session. Okay, I'm going to stop here.